Alright, I did it. I got water, so let's get started with the best of 5. Fahad versus Nwpo. I'm just very gonna say straight away that I've heard a ton of pronunciations for this guy's name. Heard the Middle East casters on the RLCS stream call him Nwpo. Now I've been informed that that's because there is no P sound in Arabic, so they're going with a B sound there instead, which makes sense. But yeah, I'm going to call him Nwpo because I've heard a bunch of variations, and that is the one that I like the most. I don't know, it sounds pretty cool. Nwpo in the blue, Fahad in the orange. Best of 5. It's the first time I've casted Nwpo on my channel. Well, I've casted, yeah, I think well, I'm not really casted, but I've watched him play on my channel before. I've been really enjoying watching his team play in the spring split. It's quite an interesting matchup here for many reasons. Number one, of course, these guys are both ones gods. They're both incredible. So that's going to be fantastic to see the matchup. Or to see them match up, I should say. But it's also interesting to note that in the winter split of the current RLCS season, Fahad's team, Scythes, were the biggest challenge to Falcons. At the time it was Sandrock Gaming. And Fahad was, I think, the main player on that roster who was causing Sandrock problems. And now, in the spring split, Nwpo's team Cola have been the main challenge to Sandrock, now Falcons. And Nwpo's been the guy. He's been the star player. So we're actually looking at two players who have led the two rosters that have given Sandrock Gaming the most dominant team. Well, the most dominant team regionally in the world, because no team has dominated their region as much as Sandrock, aka Falcons, have. And these are the two players who have led the rosters who have given Sandrock and Falcons the biggest problem over multiple events. The next team in that list would be Veloce, with the new version of Veloce, Senzo, Twiz, SMW, impressive 4-man roster. Those are the three teams who have really been a threat to Falcons and Sandrock throughout the season. But okay, enough of that 3v3 talk. In the 1v1 so far, we have 3 goals. Although that, compared to Endpoint BDS, it's quite a slow tally. We're on the new map, by the way. A couple people asking, what is this map? This is, I think, called Utopia Gilded, isn't it? So we're on the new map for this recent patch. I'm not sure if this one's been added to the map rotation in ranked, but I imagine it would be. I kind of like the look of it. I think it's pretty clean. It's going to be interesting to see if people still like it after a couple more days go by. Sometimes a new map comes out, everybody loves it, then after a couple of days people get bored of it. What a great start to the game from Nwpo, is absolutely slaughtering the net. That's a great save from Fahad. He is up against it here. Now we saw a much more aerial based game from Fahad the last time we saw him play. Great recovery by Nwpo there. That's outrageous. Fahad over the top of him with a double tap, but Nwpo didn't really mind. He just reads the bounce off his own backboard and makes it 5-0 on the counter attack. It looks slippery. Yeah, it does look like it's made out of marble or something, which I don't think marble would be the best surface to drive on. Fahad not enough boost to make a bump, but the ball bounces in anyway. Nwpo panicking there. He probably had one eye on where Fahad was, one eye on the ball, thinking that maybe Fahad, yeah, right there, he lost sight of Fahad, and he's probably thinking Fahad's going to come bump me, isn't he? I better jump quickly here. He didn't need to jump too quickly. Fahad didn't have boost to get him from that position. And now we're going to try and get the 5-goal lead back. Pretty low reset on the ball. He takes his time, and he scores anyway. He is so difficult to read in these kind of positions, because you can clearly see he's going for a reset and then maybe a flick into an air dribble, maybe a flick into or another reset on the ball. But after realizing the reset didn't land early enough, the ball dropped down too low. No problem. He just takes his time, waits for the bounce, and then flicks the ball into a dunk. He's going to try and fly into a rebound here without ball cam, and he makes it look routine. Training ground move from Nwpo. Fahad left stranded in the midfield after the kickoff. Tried to pressure the play there, hoping that Nwpo would take the ball down the wall and play for the infield dribble. And Nwpo is a very efficient player, going straight for the net. Fahad threatened again on the next kickoff. He's been dominated so far when it comes to kickoff possession plays. Nwpo just forcing one extra touch on every single play. Backboard is open though, and that's where Fahad heads. And he shoots low with the rebound immediately to counter Nwpo's in and out save. He had a couple of options here. either a backboard double off that first touch, or just a straight shot before Nwpo can get back to the ball. 7-2. Still Fahad in this, but kickoffs are the key. He needs to get possession on the majority of the kickoffs that remain. I think he's got possession off this one. Nwpo's going to think about pressuring the ball, decides better of it. Fahad crushes in a 50-50. It's a 4-goal game. Nwpo actually pretty passive in that play, which is surprising to see. I thought after grabbing that boost he would just throw a challenge in and see what's happening. Or at least certainly throw a challenge in when Fahad dropped the ball, but he waited a bit too late. Took the 50 defensively. Could not react in time. Heavy first touch now. Fahad knocks it too heavy to the back corner there. Those kind of touches can take a lot of time off the clock. Nwpo not going to give the ball back to him in a hurry. Fahad might just have gotten it away from him here. Nwpo always clean with the recoveries. He's one of the fastest players in the world, there's no doubt about it. One of the most mechanical players in the world. And if you're fast and mechanical, you get into positions for resets where other players are trying to pressure you, thinking you might be dropping the ball low. Instead, it's just a perfect setup from Nwpo once again. Now, what's Fahad going to do here? He's going big to the outside, so did Nwpo on the kickoff. Fahad skips infield past the early challenge. Actually forgoing the boost in that position just to play the outplay. That's a great touch. Nwpo expecting Fahad to take a wider line to the ball and pick up the boost on his way. Fahad not doing that, actually playing the ball directly. Nwpo actually losing control now. That's another missed touch, and Fahad spots him challenging. This is definitely competitive here. Nwpo is up 7-1, but 2 times in a row Fahad has spotted Nwpo challenging, and he's played the ball over his head. Think back as well when Nwpo didn't challenge. Fahad crushed him on the goal line with a 50, so quite a few successful offensive plays from Fahad in a row. That's not the touch he was looking for though. Well, that one is. First touch might not have been great. Second one was exactly what he needed. Just 20 boost for Nwpo. Fahad doesn't want to give him a 50-50 here, trying to keep the ball in this awkward position. Nwpo catches it on the goal line. Reminiscent of Scrubkilla on Wasteland in RLCS all those seasons ago. No flip, no jump, just casual ball control. Just over a minute left still. Fahad trails by 3. I want to very quickly say thank you to Brecco for the 53-month tier 1, by the way. Sorry I didn't get that one at the start of the stream. Hopefully you're still here. Appreciate the resub, dude. KZ Butler 12 as well with the 26-month prime. Welcome back to you also. Big kickoff win there for Nwpo. This is going to be a tough position to come back from. Time getting away from Fahad. Very nice save there to keep the comeback alive though. He might just shoot this first time. He does. Has he got the accuracy? Not quite. It was a good try, but you would have needed the perfect shot there to put it past Nwpo and also squeeze it in at the bottom left corner. And a jump over the back corner. Demo attempt confirms, well, all but confirms the game win. We've seen 5-goal comebacks in 50 seconds, but I think Nwpo's kickoffs are just too good. He's not going to give 5 possessions in a row to Fahad. Not many players do these days. Free jump. Very lingering challenge there from Nwpo, just hanging out in the air, waiting for the ball to finally reach him. We've not seen a lot of flicks from Fahad as another low 50 goes in for him. Might be afraid of Nwpo's shadow defense, definitely recognizing the insane reaction time that the 15-year-old prodigy has. Now, how exciting would it be if Nwpo, Rawas and Clears all ended up on a team? The lowest average age of any RLCS team. Should it happen next season, I'm sure. Oh, that's casual. He is just too good. Too clean with it. Nwpo skirts the ball underneath Fahad's wall play. And it's a good idea anytime you see a defender on the back wall like that. Great idea to play a low shot or a low 50-50 because it's difficult to dive down off the wall like this, well, from this position, and also get a strong 50-50 on the ball. Getting goal side pretty much forces all of your momentum to be sideways, so you don't have a lot to use in the direction of the ball. EU kickoffs can't compete with this. Relating Wave, I hope you guys have been practicing. If you guys bring those kickoff strats to the London Major, I'm going to be very disappointed. I hope you guys have been training new kickoff strats for London. Maybe you were just hiding all the real kickoff strats for London. That's the best copium I've heard from one of the comments I saw. It was one bad game and you haven't played since. wave. There's bad games, and there's conceding 3 kickoff goals in 3v3 in 11 seconds as a professional team. Sorry, did somebody ask for a new server there? They both left. I didn't see the chat. I'm assuming that they asked for a new server. Type 1 in chat if that's true. You weren't on the kickoffs? Oh, map change. Okay. Is the new map too shiny? Too big? It's not bigger, is it? It is for Fahad, he says. He says the map's too big. He's got big map bug. I've never heard of big map bug before, but Fahad's got it. So that's a totally different way of saying heavy car bug. I've got big map bug. It's actually very difficult to say that. Try saying out loud. Big map bug. That's difficult. Maybe it's just difficult for me, but please give me some help here. Type 2 in chat if saying big map bug it is difficult. That would be kind of interesting if there were different sized maps in RLCS. Small map specialists. Yeah, it's tough. Probably going to be very difficult for Americans and people from the UK, because every time we say big map, we're probably all going to say Big Mac instead. Not much we could do here. Fahad dropping the oops as he ends up bumping Nwpo into an advantageous position there. You think the shiny floor skews the perception compared to the old maps? Interesting, interesting. Another excellent start here for Nwpo, but Fahad bumps him away from the direct kickoff goal. Still boost fully under control of the youngster who's keeping the pressure on. If you're wondering why is he darting back and forward here so quickly, it's to deny 12 boost pads. He knew that there was no big boost on the other side of the box to take away, but by shooting so quickly, Nwpo actually denies Fahad any time to grab the small boost pads. Because if you actually delay your attack there, wait for the big boost to respawn so you can steal it again, then you are giving your opponent time to circle, grab a couple pads, and then you're 100 boosts against 20, which is actually not as big as having just momentum against somebody who's stationary and completely out of boost. If somebody's completely stationary and boostless, they have no way to generate speed. Well, definitely not beyond a flip. But yeah, it didn't end up working. It's interesting to note, though. There's no way Nwpo was expecting that boost to be there when he got back, but he wanted to keep up the pressure anyway. But he's continually attacking. Fahad messed up with the wave dash, which might have led him through on goal immediately. Another low 50 comes through. This one is blocked by Nwpo, who reverses into Fahad. Whoa. Okay, that's a very unconventional play. Could have just ran into the corner, taken a boost advantage, but he preferred the possession. And, well, it's worked out in the long run, as Fahad's missed a backboard touch. I think he should have had. Sorry to make you watch this again, Fahad, but yeah, he just totally misread that one. That's not a read that you'd usually get wrong. Nwpo playing a very unconventional but high pressure strategy at the start of the second game. Now just chipping the ball in target. Was not too slow with the demo setup either. Fahad reacted quickly enough and sent the ball into the corner before the demo landed. Lama, thanks to the, or Lilama, thanks to the 17-month prime, I should say. Welcome back to the channel. Great outplay by Fahad. He's done well spotting the challenges and Nwpo on occasion. Nwpo might need to just calm down a little bit here with these lunging challenges. It's a good idea to do it every once in a while, but take into account the end of the last game, the start of this game, quite a lot of these are being spotted, and that might be a sign that it's time to tone it down just slightly. Still go for an aggressive challenge every now and then, but certainly not every time. As my goodness, Fahad rips a shot into the roof of the net. Nwpo was there for it. Got into a decent shadowing position, but no one on earth is reacting to a shot that powerful. You definitely have to pre-jump to have any chance to save that one. So better start to the game for Fahad, mostly due to the fact that he's not lost every single kickoff possession places. Good to see that he's mixing it up here, and so is Nwpo, faking the early challenge. Doesn't get the read on the backboard bounce. Fahad misses the rebound as well, and he can't slot in the shot on the turnaround either. A couple of mistakes from both players. Nwpo got very, very close to Fahad with the fake challenge, and you've got to worry about that because Fahad's flicks are completely world class. And if you get very close to him, he's just going to flick the ball into your net. Luckily for Nwpo, that time it didn't end up in the back of the net, but hit the crossbar. even then it was a bounce. Nwpo misread. Fahad takes the ball to the back corner. Chain dash for Nwpo gets him into a position to reassume possession of the ball. And a floor double will secure the tie game. Nwpo saw Fahad coming through with the challenge, and he moved the ball downwards to get it out of the way. Great stuff. Once again, never in doubt, never looked like he was even close to missing that, despite the fact that it's one of the more mechanical open nets that you can go for. Nwpo now jumping into a reset, wants to double, but you'll have to settle for a boost steal. Still does excellently to keep full control of this situation, and now he has got the outplay on Fahad, who's way out of the game and now trails by 1. Nwpo again just crossing the box one way, crossing the box the other way, trying to bait challenges, trying to drain the boost of his opponent, and he did both there. He baited the challenge and there was no boost left for Fahad to recover in time. This is just a ridiculous matchup so far, but a matchup that has been Nwpo favoured. Fahad easily gets past him. Oh, he's boomed the net! He's boomed the crossbar, I should say, on an open net. What on earth was that? Why? I guess he wanted to prove that he's got those flicks just as powerfully as anyone else in the world, but there was no need. He had a completely uncontested shot and he smashed the crossbar. Hopefully not showing a lot of respect to Fahad's flick in that position because there's no momentum to play with. Oh dear, Fahad, you've thrown away an equalizer there. Now you've got to go and redeem yourself. Nwpo's fake challenge baits the early touch, but Fahad will be able to back it up with the boost steal. Nwpo threatening a demo on the counter-attack. Might want to stick around in the midfield here. Fahad's early shot shows you why. And a corner boost grab there for Nwpo would have left his net open. Fahad there briefly thought about a demo, thought better of it. Nwpo saw him coming. Both players do well to stay away from each other on attempted demos in this extended back and forth. Fahad trying to get an eye on the challenge if Nwpo's sending one towards him, but like I mentioned earlier, Nwpo's calmed it down. He's faking a lot more challenges now. Fahad reads the fake, and this time he gets the flick right. It's so important that he did this because if he beamed another flick it would have been disastrous. He got it all wrong earlier on. Now he's got a second chance at it. Tie game. Not a bad kickoff. In fact, the perfect kickoff from Fahad, who manages to get the long shot through and now leads in the final 13 seconds. Nwpo trying to go to the outside. Fahad commits harder. He doesn't need to go for a shot here. He thought about it. Nwpo almost pinched the shot on target after losing the kickoff badly. I think that's going to roll into the ground, though. Nothing that Nwpo could do. He knows that his fate was sealed. A nice little comeback there at the end from Fahad after throwing away an easy equalizer opportunity. He managed to get it right on the second time against the defended net. Yeah, Fahad taking Coxer 97's old motto, no open nets. Just dribble the ball around and wait for it to be defended. Let's see if there's going to be a card change here. Nwpo does play a lot of Octane. Will be a Fennec. Fahad is in the Octane. Now, I was going to mention also, since I did talk about both of these players and their RLCS rosters, their 3v3 rosters, we are not going to see either of them at the World's Wildcard Tournament. That's because, oh wow, what a shot by Nwpo. Let's pause for a second and appreciate this. But yeah, Nwpo's team only came together in the spring split, which is far too late to accumulate enough points to finish top 2, top 3 in Middle East. And Fahad's team only came together in the winter split, so a little bit longer time for them to accumulate points, but still not enough to catch up with teams who have been grabbing points all the way back since the fall split, such as O1 Esports, that's AMS, Mawson and Zizonix, and Veloce, that's the Senzo, Twiz, SMW and Impressive. So currently the, for all you Middle East fans out there, currently the status of the Middle East Worlds and Wildcard teams. So Falcons and Veloce are guaranteed minimum wildcard. Well, actually, Veloce are guaranteed wildcard no matter what. That's not changing. Falcons are guaranteed at a minimum wildcard, but they've got a decent chance of getting into Worlds directly if they finish top 8 in London. If they finish top 8 in London, and Furia do not finish top 8 in London, and there's a maximum of 2 EU teams, or rather no, 3 EU teams in the top 8, then Falcons will qualify for Worlds directly, and that will actually bring Owen Esports along with them. AMS, Mostens, and Zonix would go to the wild card alongside Veloce. That's your main scenario that you're looking out for. And I was looking at the bracket. It's kind of interesting because there is a world where we get to the lower bracket match between well, there's a world where Falcons and Furia will play in the lower bracket for a world spot. That would be in the case of, let's say, Endpoint and Carmine Corp both being eliminated in lower round 2 by teams like Space Station, you know, maybe Team Liquid. I'm not sure how, I can't remember off the top of my head, but let's say Endpoint and Carmine Corp both get eliminated bottom 8 in London. And then you have Falcons dropping down to the lower bracket bottom half, and Furia also dropping to the lower bracket bottom half. In that case, they would play each other for a Worlds spot, which would be ridiculously exciting. So that's one to watch out for. I don't think I mentioned it in my predictions video, because I've recently learned what all the scenarios are. But I've learned more scenarios, so I wanted to bring that one to your guys' attention, especially all you Middle East fans. Fans of Fahad and Nwpo teams, I'm sure will be fans of all the other Middle East teams for Wildcard and Worlds. Very closely knit region. Oh dear, Fahad accidentally beans a save on this one. 3-2 Nwpo. I think Fahad should have had a save on this. We're going to take another look. Yeah, he kind of reacted a bit too late to this one. If he'd got in onto the goal line, or just gotten a little bit closer to the back wall, that would have been a lot easier to save. Still though, I like the pathing from Fahad to grab small boost pads in the middle of the field instead of just running to the goal when he knows the shot isn't coming. Good timing of arrival now, Nwpo. Still in a very good position here. Fahad kind of playing dangerously, and he will be punished for it. Has he got the pre-flip? No, not quite. Nwpo up by 2. I was going to mention there, I was very impressed with Fahad's knowledge not to... It's crazy change dashes there by Nwpo. But impressive by Fahad's knowledge not to worry when he was right in front of Nwpo. I guess he read that initially Nwpo wasn't supersonic. He certainly was when the demo came through, but before that, it was just a harmless pump. Will I come KSA in July? I'm not sure. I don't know. I would definitely like to, but we'll see. Gary, mate, thanks to the 3-month Prime. Welcome back to the channel. Fahad's map copium is running away now after, you know, he lost the first game on a map that he didn't like, apparently. I didn't know he didn't like the map, by the way. I just thought, well, new map came out, let's pick it for the show match. But he didn't like it. Since we've switched to Manfield Might, the games have been competitive, but Nwpo is leading in this one. Ainyaz, thanks to the 28-month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel. By the way, after this match tonight, chat, we might talk about this Mount Rushmore discussion that's been happening in the Rocket League community today. It's quite an interesting one. I was tweeting about it earlier, but I think it would be interesting to have a discussion on Twitch about it as well if you guys want to drop a one in the chat. I'm kind of curious to see what Twitch chat's Mount Rushmore is for Rocket League. I only really learned about what Mount Rushmore was today. Well, actually, when I Googled it, I was like, oh, it's the heads. Which, to be honest, I wasn't even sure if that was real. I'm just going to be completely straight with you guys. I wasn't sure if that was real or from a film or something. I was like, oh, that's real. Okay, cool. Also, I wasn't sure if... I thought Mount Rushmore was like a mountain. I thought it was like, I don't know, Mount Everest, Mount Rushmore, you know, one of them things. I didn't realize it was the heads until today. I was like, ah, okay. So that's a real thing then. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know. I guess it is a mountain. It's a mountainside, isn't it? But it's got heads on it, or else it wouldn't be. The fact it's got the heads on it is what's special, isn't it? We'll talk about it later. Let's focus on the match. So we've got another big lead for Nwpo, but it's again a comebackable score. We saw game 1 from Fahad, finished off quite strong. He's gonna need to do the same thing again here. It's all about controlling the possession. You don't need to panic in a minute and change for a 3-goal lead in 1v1. In fact, the most important thing to do is to control the possession. That's a great air dribble by Fahad. We're going to need to take another look at that one. Extra touch at the end of this one. Caught Nwpo off guard. He was underneath the ball. Thought that Fahad was done air dribbling. But one more touch came through. And now we're down to a 2-goal difference. Yeah, controlling possession is the key these days. You give any of the best ones players in the world, and both these guys are some of the best ones players in the world. Oh dear, I think Nwpo's missed an open net there though. Don't think he realized how much time he had. Yeah, if you give either of these players a chance to control the ball inside the final minute when they've got a goal lead, especially a 2 or 3 goal lead, they are going to waste a lot of time. And let's see just how much time Nwpo can waste here before giving Fahad another chance on net. He's up for the double. Fahad accidentally sends it in his own net. Oh dear. You knew he had to jump for this, but the idea is to jump from the same position an attacker would and then miss. For anyone who's wondering, what are you supposed to do when somebody fires the ball at your backboard like this and you've got a goalie sitting in a net in 2v2 or 3v3? The answer is you're supposed to go up, because it's much easier for you to read the backboard as a defender in the position Fahad was in there than it is for a goalkeeper in the net to read his own backboard overhead. And you just have to miss. Like, I know you guys are all good at that. Just go up for the rebound and then don't score. I mean, you all probably would do that if you're in attack anyway, so should come naturally. In this instance though, Fahad's instincts kicked in. Problem I think a lot of pro players have. They're trying to miss a backboard rebound and they accidentally put it in their own net. That's going to be 2-1 for Nwpo, who has had the more impressive showing so far today. Even outside of crazy moments like that own goal, Nwpo has had more control, more mechanical ability, and he just looks a tad more efficient. Fahad gonna need to dig deep here to hang with it. Delegate Louis, thanks to the 15-month tier 1. Anyaz as well, thanks to 28-month tier 1. Welcome back, both of you. I don't know Nwpo's settings, I'm sorry. Not very good at knowing camera settings these days. I think they're probably all on Wikipedia. No ads today. I mean, I don't know. I never run ads, but well, sometimes I run ads if I'm doing a really big tournament and I've got tens of thousands of viewers, because then you're literally just printing money. But on normal streams, I don't run ads. So if you see ads, it's Twitch running ads, not me. So if Twitch have decided to not run ads in the stream, cool. The revenue usually from ads on Twitch is just not really worth, I think, the pain of putting everybody through watching an advert. Twitch ad revenue is so low compared to YouTube, where the ads actually pay a lot more. Yeah, when you've got, I know the really big streamers, and I can say from personal experience, when you've got, you know, into 5-figure viewers, it does start to add up and it becomes quite significant. Was there some kind of channel point prediction on goals? Oh, there was. Oh, there was a channel point prediction on will the series have 40 plus goals? And we've already hit it at the start of Game 4. It has been a very high scoring series. So both players have seen significant success. Nwpo's pressure has been insane. You know, he boost stars Fahad and finds ways through. You know, and Fahad, in desperation, trying not to get boost starved, just sometimes takes himself out of position because he'd prefer to be active and get outplayed than be passive and do nothing. Just watch the ball go into the net. Activity does usually triumph reactivity in Rocket League defense. But you can't overdo it. We saw Nwpo overdo it earlier on in the series. He was lunging too much on challenges. Switch that up in game number 2 to try and keep Fahad guessing. That's a great turnaround by Fahad there. Half flip, a bit of a bump onto him as well, but he controlled it to keep the possession, at least for then. But now goes back on to control. I don't know how he does this, by the way. This is kind of insane. How many times today Nwpo has made a first touch like this where it almost looks like he's pinching the ball, but he's not. He's actually just popping the ball off the wall. He's done this for an air dribble earlier on, an air dribble setup. He's done it now for a shot setup. Kind of ridiculous, the fact that he can do that reliably and consistently. And the recovery is pretty instantaneous as well. It's not like he's out of the game for a long time there. In fact, some of these touches he's made, he's not even out of the game at all. He just immediately lands. He is just running rings around Fahad here, who messes up a wave dash, bringing an end to the counter-attack before it could get started. Nwpo again, right in front of Fahad's net, causing all kinds of problems. Fahad calls correctly that he didn't have any boost to play with there. Trying to stay calm in the face of danger, but the air dribble takeoff, not good enough. Oh, Fahad brilliantly absorbs the challenge though. He had to go for plan B here because that touch there is not what he wanted, but how about that for control on the 50-50? Nwpo thought for sure if he flipped into the ball there it would go flying into the corner. Fahad denies it quite well. Is he going to go back corner? No, plays for the aggressive corner here. He does lose control. I wonder if that was the right play there from Fahad. This definitely is, going for the back corner boost in his own half. He's keeping the ball up in the air, trying to make it difficult for Nwpo to turn around. Nwpo does though. Now Nwpo's been knocked out of position. Just a brief trip onto the play and Fahad is through on goal. No open net boomer flick into the crossbar on this one. Yeah, I'll talk about the Rocket League Mount Rushmore discussion after this matchup, guys. I'll talk about what I've been seeing from the Rocket League community today and what I've been thinking myself as well. Nwpo seeks to tie the game with a long range flick. That's not going to compromise Fahad's position too much, but the follow-up bump did. Again, Fahad manipulates the 50 in his favour quite brilliantly. I think the Fennec is definitely suited him more today. The switch to the Octane was a bit of a strange one from Fahad, so I don't think outpacing Nwpo is a way to do it. I think you've got to try and control the game against this guy. You're not going to be faster than him. Nobody is. Well, certainly not that I've seen. But when it comes to out positioning and changing pace, Fahad clearly has a chance. He's switched between flicks and low 50s in offense, and now he's switching between long shots backed up with pressure onto Nwpo himself, as well as contesting the back corner boosts. Love the early challenge there from Fahad. He's got a 2-goal lead now, so he should be the one who's making that kind of touch, backing his opponent up. Nwpo, oh my. He just nails the backboard read. Flies down, only had 23 boosts, but he still had some left over after the rebound. That's ridiculous. The time between the landing and the jump for the rebound was so minuscule. I can't believe he didn't need pretty much any readjustment in order to get back to the ball. As soon as he jumped, he was already lined up perfectly for the rebound. I mean, me, or you know, even like other pros, not just Nwpo, not Nwpo level pros, will have to jump for that and then use a bit of boost to readjust. Not this guy. Ridiculous reads, insane mechanics. So the chain dash really is so intimidating to hear as well. When you see a player doing that, it's one thing. When you can hear it coming, oh no, that's a backflip. Fahad manages to avoid smacking the bar with his flick from close range. I think he saw the backflip here. Yeah, he did. He didn't need to rush. Well, he's kind of committed to the play before the backflip happened. I think Fahad was going to try and pop it over Nwpo's head. Set up for a boost steal, probably anticipating a save on that, but Nwpo could have maybe gone for the mid boost grab there. Ball looked to be in a pretty safe location, but he didn't want to concede possession. So understandably accepts that he will have to give Fahad 100 boost. And that played. And that's not the touch that Nwpo was looking for, but it's probably one that he could work with. Fahad up early. Completely misses, and Nwpo punishes him immediately. Oh yeah, Fahad just ran out of boost. He needed a bit of a touch onto that. I mean, any touch better than nothing, of course, but he needed to waste some time so he could get back to the mid boost and then back to his net before a long shot comes through. Nwpo with back corner boost control and ball control. He's got everything in this play. Fahad sneaks up behind the ball, gets a reverse challenge in. This is dangerous territory for Fahad. He was in the perfect line of attack for a demo, but he's gotten away from it now, and I think he slotted in another goal. Nwpo strangely slow to go back to his net after the 50-50. I thought he would be the one to control the ball, to be honest. He landed pretty close to it, but didn't immediately go. That left a window for Fahad. Fahad climbed right through. Good kickoff as well. He's missed a boost though. It's not over yet. Fahad not out of the woods. And he's definitely not with that boost grab. Nwpo snipes the bottom corner. Another immediate punish. This time it's not from Fahad overextending, but from Fahad going a bit too far away from the net. Can Nwpo send it into overtime? 8 seconds to work with. He's got a great kickoff for himself. No doubt he's going for this. The ball's too far off the wall. Decides to wait for the bounce, and the shot is lackluster. Well, I wasn't expecting that one. I thought for sure we were going to see an air dribble from Nwpo there. But I'm guessing that he went for the shot to try and predict a pre-jump. We'll have to take another look at that one later on. Remind me to take another look at the final 8 seconds of this game after we watch Game 5 live. The only reason that you'd want to shoot low there is by making it look like you're going to go for an air dribble setup and then just bang the ball underneath a pre-jump. Fahad hasn't really pre-jumped a lot of air dribbles today. He's been quite reactive on them. So I'm very surprised to see Nwpo shooting low. Well, maybe he just messed up the mechanics. He might have tried to bang that top corner. We'll take another look after game number 5 is done. For now, Fahad back in the Fennec again, so this is a good choice. 50-50s have been strong. The high-low mix-ups have been good in the Fennec. I think it's caused a lot more problems for Nwpo to deal with, and already Fahad up by 1. Nwpo probably a bit frustrated that he didn't get more of a contact onto Fahad there. He did get a bit of a bump onto him. Not one that left any lasting damage. Fahad gonna flip into the corner. That double jump from Nwpo slowed him down enough to leave the boost seal wide open. He still had enough left over that he could clear the ball and buy himself some time. Bounce dribble from Fahad. Spots the early challenge and goes right past it with the shot to the right hand side. Nwpo pathed extremely far to the right here to get 1 extra 12 boost pad, and that made his challenge a little bit obvious. I think he was clearly in the line of sight of Fahad on that play. First touch off the wall leaves a lot to be desired there from Nwpo. Needed to get back to the ball with a ton of boost usage, but again, he's got enough to turn around with and follow up on the next attack. Shoots high. Needed to boost back into position there to punish Fahad's miss. And even though that first shot was over the bar, Fahad still needs to get a touch on it. He can't just let that ball bounce. If he's not, he's either got to stay on the ground and call the high shot, or jump and make sure you touch it either before or after the bounce. Just make sure you get something on it. Nwpo with that no jump, half volley off the back wall. Didn't really catch Fahad out of position, but he'll have the next offensive play either way. He forces Fahad to land badly. Still not badly enough that Fahad can't chase him into the midfield, but Nwpo evades him, turns and scores. And we're tied up yet again. That was almost good enough there from Fahad. Initially hitting the post after landing. Post save. No pun intended. And he couldn't get back to the play to prevent Nwpo from turning around. Low 50. Again, working pretty well for Fahad. Fakes the boost grab, instead lets the ball bounce. Nwpo able to turn around and clear the ball towards the midfield. Fahad with an air dribble. He knows Nwpo's going to block the first touch here, but he can't block the second one. Fahad dunks on the initial save and goes up by 1 again. This is a tough one for Nwpo to prevent. He had to play with quite a lot of momentum backwards here because Fahad was kind of threatening an air dribble bump at the same time. Of course, when you do that, your touch on the ball is not going to be all that powerful. Fahad sends a long shot wide. Nwpo glad to see that because he wasn't far enough back to catch it. Now Fahad reads the low 50 of Nwpo. He's outthinking Nwpo at the moment. He's read a bunch of his challenges. He's predicted a bunch of his shots. Like I mentioned earlier, Nwpo's mechanics, his efficiency, are inevitable. They're going to give him chances. They're going to put Fahad in compromised positions. at some point. Fahad break checks the demo attempt on the sidewall. Nwpo having to use quite a lot of boost to get the second touch there, but he's still got some left over. Settles for the 50-50 once he reached floor level. Nwpo off the ceiling, shoots early, and it's in. Saw the opening and sniped it with absolutely no delay. Fahad trying to challenge, didn't even get close. Nwpo proved to be too quick in that exchange. How much boost has Nwpo got? He's got enough to get up for this. Fahad does not read the bounce. Decided he would just wait and see if that one hits the bar, bounces down or bounces out. Probably thinking that any touch he makes is going to result in an own goal anyway. That one really did look like a Nwpo goal, and this does as well. Fahad a bit too pedestrian here, a bit too casual. He actually missed all the 12 boost pads on the way back to his goal as well. Left him in a precarious position. Nwpo knew what to do. I think this is where Fahad needs to start mixing up the kickoffs again. He did a great job in game number 2 to even out the kickoff possession disparity that was so clear in game 1. It's starting to come back again, and Fahad's been the counter-attack. Nwpo turns it around, and he's not going to miss an open net from here. 3-goal game again. Fahad wanted to shoot that ball early. Did he need to take that risk? I don't think so. He's been defending for the majority of this game, and it's not desperate territory just yet. Oh my goodness, how did Nwpo get that boost? He must have barely been there first. Looked like Fahad was closer, at least on the spectator client, but as we know, sometimes server says different. A minute and 30 seconds left. Nwpo hovering goal side on the last challenge now. Threatening the backboard double. He's got to read the bounce downwards. Of course he does. And a 4-goal lead is looking good for the youngster. He just doesn't miss any reads, does he? He's so consistent with these. One of the advantages of being such a dominant player in the air when it comes to 3v3, that is something that does transition great into 1v1 these days. It didn't used to. Back in the day, being good in the air was useless in ones. It was too risky, but these days, everything goes. Recoveries enable these players to go crazy. Fahad down by 5 now. Nwpo counterattacks him again, and Fahad's overextended quite a few times in this game. I don't think he needed to. He's been efficient with his scoring when he just takes a little bit of time to set it up, but he's not done that. He's rushed himself in this game, and Nwpo has devastated him. Fahad completely side onto the ball there. Kickoff's gone wrong as well. Nwpo in his debut show match, well, at least on my channel. Looks like he's going to take it in 5. Doesn't need any more goals. Just needs to grab a hold of the ball and wait for Fahad's time to run out. Somehow he's managed to bounce this into a playable position. Unconventional positioning from Nwpo on the backboard there, but he makes it work. Getting weird with it, but nothing he can't handle. These are positions that his mechanics can really help him get out of. Frustrating for Fahad. He'll know that he didn't play his best here in game number 5 I should say. He had the better read on Nwpo in the mid-series here. He's reading his challenges. He was reading his movement very well. Definitely gave him an edge in the strategy and the positioning elements of the game. But when it comes to mechanics, when it comes to speed and efficiency, Nwpo was just too good. 10-3, Fahad forfeits the remainder of game number 5. Congrats to Nwpo, and thanks for playing both these players. Great series, great stuff. Can't really blame Fahad in this one. Made to look uncomfortable, but who wouldn't be uncomfortable against the mechanics that we just saw coming out of the newest, well actually maybe not the hottest prospect in the Middle East right now, because Roas and Kalir's both just turned 15, but definitely, okay, the hot prospect for the spring split, certainly. Now I wanted to check the last 8 seconds of this game. We're going to very quickly do that. Let's see, why did Nwpo shoot low? Was it a miss hit? Did he try and read a pre-jump? So many moments in this game we have to skip through. My goodness. Very high scoring series by both players. So it's going to be here. Nwpo down by 1, 8 seconds. He actually just scored before this as well. Now, if that bounce had been a bit closer to the wall, I think, or a bit higher, I think he's air dribbling this. But because it's low and it's so far away from the wall, he decides that's going to take up too much boost to get to. Let's just wait for the bounce. And it was at this moment I'm thinking, Nwpo must be setting up an air dribble here, because he's air dribbled a bunch to great success in this match. And you know that he can immediately land a reset on the ball before Fahad can challenge. But yeah, he went for a shot instead, which makes me think, I mean, looking at this again, it's very clear that he does, I mean, right here, you'll notice he starts boosting right here. Now, you're not boosting here unless you've premeditated the shot. You're planning to go for the shot here. So clearly that's what he had as an idea. It could be one of two things, like I mentioned during the game. I think this, so far what I've seen in the replay, just confirms what we already talked about. Either Nwpo is thinking, because there's only 3 seconds left, because, well, we're headed to a 0-second aerial play, and because of that, Fahad needs to be considering the possibility of an air dribble. I mean, anyone in this position in defense needs to consider the possibility of an air dribble, which could be an air dribble bump, could be an air dribble double tap, could be an air dribble flip reset, or just a vanilla air dribble with a dunk at the end. You have to consider all that, especially when you get to 0 seconds, because one of the disadvantages of air dribbles is you use all your boost sometimes and you land badly. But that doesn't matter on 0 seconds when you're down by 1. So this is something that Fahad needed to consider. And I think Nwpo is expecting Fahad to consider all that and pre-jump here. Because if you pre-jump an air dribble in this position, you shut down every flip reset, because they're not going to be able to get the reset in time before you arrive at the ball. You probably counter any air dribble bumps because they don't have time to hit the ball and then get ahead of it. They wouldn't have time to fly ahead of it. And yeah, any air dribble pretty much you're countering with a pre-jump. That's probably why Nwpo shoots low. He's trying to counter a pre-jump, because there's no way that he's thinking in this position, oh, if I shoot, Fahad's not going to save it. It's got to be a read. He's trying to read a pre-jump, because shooting from here, there's no shot. And Nwpo thinks a shot in this range is going to go past Fahad if Fahad just stays on the ground. No way. Even if the shot's better, even if he didn't mean to shoot low, he meant to shoot high, doesn't matter, Fahad's going to save it. This angle, Fahad saves any shot. So I think he was trying to read a pre-jump there.